There are so many news on crypto today, guys, that it's weird why we're still in a very narrow range for the price of Bitcoin. So let's look at some of them, some of the interesting news, and see what is happening. Okay, so first of all, I would like to share some articles on the opinion of many analytics about the current state of the Bitcoin price, and just sort of probe the sentiment, the overall narrative, the way of thinking of people in the market right now. And in fact, there are two different camps. One is believe that we are in a sort of a nice range, like 3,500 to 4, or maybe to $5,000, and we are sort of building a basis, a support in this area, and it's very likely that we will start the growth from that support. And in fact, it's like reasonable for the next growth during after such a drop from $6,000, and we hold this and so on and so forth. But there's another part of people who is thinking that we have a lack of the trading volume, which possibly could be a red flag. Also, we have the possible formation, bearish formation, like a bearish flag or bearish pennant, and this is also quite likely to be result into the drop, the further drop. So and like you see, there are two different camps and two different way of thinking about that. So it's really not clear, as we were saying about this for a few videos in recent days. Like it's really mixed signals right now on the market. It's not clear where to go, and this is by Forbes, so it's huge, huge media, right? Second one is actually not yesterday or today, but from December 31st, but I would like to share it today again, because it seems like it is summing up a lot of things happened from the institutional side from 2018. And this is pretty bullish article actually. So they say that there are more like emerging interest from the institutions to crypto and Bitcoin. And first they say that, of course, Harvard, Yale, and Stanford became first institutions who invest in cryptocurrencies, and like the guys like David Swenson those guys like him are the leaders of this in this area, and other people will look at what they are doing. So we just need a sort of the case, the success case of such investment. And if, for example, right now a lot of the institutions look at the Harvard, Yale, and Stanford and everyone like those and think, okay, they invested, and we don't know whether shall we follow them because they are leaders in the field, or shall we wait and think, okay, we will be maybe the second movers, but like fast, not the first, but fast movers. The thing is, people who are making decisions right now, they don't want to take risk. And when there will be a success case, if the crypto will go high and those institutions will make like 10x on their investments, and it will appear to be the best investments that they made, those other institutions will, like the people who make decisions will answer the heads of those institutions and the investors to the question why you didn't follow the main players in the field. Why now you have to catch up and miss the profits? And that will be the time when the FOMO among institutions will start, just in my opinion. So let's see how those huge investors will deal with such new strategy. Still quite bullish. And also there's another thing, like there is an increase of the push to legitimize crypto Like there is pro-crypto lobbying group launched in Washington DC, and also France makes some moves towards regulations in crypto. So a lot of the things on the regulatory perspective and on the legitimacy of the crypto is positive these days. So we'll see how it will play out in 2019. Speaking about this, we actually have the news from Wyoming. Wyoming blockchain bill proposes issuance of tokenized stock certificates. It's not exactly like pro crypto, but it's really close field. And if it will happen, I think it will be come into effect July 1st if the bill will pass into law, but still quite likely to happen. If it will happen, then it will make a case, will open a door to similar cases, and a lot of the understanding and regulatory clearance, the clarity will happen with this ideas, with this field. Speaking about the states in the United States of America, I think we sort of underestimated what happened in Ohio when they started to accept tax payments in crypto. In fact, if you think about that, it happened like last year, and November 29th, but still this news is, in my personal opinion, so bullish, because you have to, from the government agency standpoint, there should be people who would take responsibility to say, okay, Bitcoin or crypto is a more general term here, is the legitimate way of payments and wealth and value, so you'll be able to use it on the government, on the state basis, and it's basically legitimizing the whole area quite a lot. If until after that there will be no positive decisions, for example on ETFs or something, that would be really weird to me, because a lot of things it's like a mosaic, which is like a jigsaw puzzle, which a lot of the pieces are coming together finally, and you see that there's a clear picture, which is pretty shiny right now, at least in my opinion. Okay, let's continue with the news and what we're seeing with the Constantinople fork upgrade actually on the Ethereum blockchain. 10% of miners stay on Constantinople. It seemed like, at least from my understanding, what they did is that they weren't aware, they weren't told that, or they didn't know somehow that the fork was delayed, or maybe it will be. It should be just delayed. It probably will happen eventually. So they didn't know about the delay, and they continued the mining with the Constantinople blockchain fork. So, and it happened within a few hours. It seemed like they're returning to the main blockchain, but yeah, things like this happen, and in principle it smells like a fork actually, so it may be a reason for some small changes in the price which we observed recently. One more news, except Tether, there are many, more than 50 at least last year it was, cryptocurrencies stablecoins, and among them there is USDC, United States dollar coin, right? And it issued by Circle. We all know this giant. And then recently there was the audit about their funds. So what they found, that the audit found that token issued 250 million, and they actually covered completely backed by the funds in custody accounts, 250 million. So this is the thing which is sort of brings some concern from the for the many investors, for many even like crypto analysts and everybody in this area about Tether. So Tether sort of, it's not clear whether it's backed by the funds or not. Here for USDC, you see they say, okay, we are funded, we are covered, so it's completely safe, no scam whatsoever, so you can use it. And in fact, despite the circle is sort of not exactly the company which should be appreciated by blockchain movement or cryptocurrencies movements at some point, but you know, they provide stability indeed, stable coin. They provide trust in that, for that matter, and yeah, why not use it instead of the Tether, which is sort of unstable? If you don't want to lose your value in Tether, I don't know, just decide by yourself. Another news, Grayscale, company which is known, if you don't know, I will tell you, which is known to be a holder of the 1% of the total number of bitcoins in circulation. So you can imagine how huge those guys are. So what they did is they add Stellar as latest cryptocurrency investment trust. And yeah, it's probably I don't know, maybe it's not due to the thing that Stellar made a lot of the progress this recent months and weeks, and outperformed many of the currencies in the field, but still it's great news for XLM. I think that those people know what they're doing, so probably XLM has some potential to the growth in future. Not financial advice, guys. And you know that recently it was like $125 million of the airdrop of Stellar, and those guys doing something. They're doing a lot of the progress in the field, right? So it's not surprising actually. So they're trying at least increase the network effect with such moves and everything. Okay, quite positive again. So you see a lot of the things are happening, and why, for goodness sake, why we don't have any move in the price. So a few different explanations you can think of. Let's look at the TA. Basically what we're doing right now is that we're looking at many triangles, and I was modifying this triangle for a few times already because we are continuing to move sideways, continuing to draw this in one way or another. And basically what we're having is we have two different channels, and one wider channel, this green one, which I drew because we have like different area around here as well, and some candles, shadows in this field, and the smaller channel which we're trading for like few days already, from January 15th, and now it's January 18th. So in fact we're just in the same price area, like 3,550 to 3,650 or something like that. And this is a sort of a minor thing. The bigger thing is, if we look at the drop from 6,000, then we will see this bigger triangle around here, and indeed it still remains sort of valid, because we had it before around here, but we didn't break, we just go sideways. So we can make this sort of a triangle still, if we will not break it, if we'll go higher or something like that, then or even if we'll break it, but like break with confirmation of this pattern. So it looks pretty much bearish, and the next target for this triangle will be something like maybe 207,000. So I'm sorry, 2,700. And yeah, it depends on where we'll break it. So it's really unclear, but still, generally, technically, from the huge time scale, it looks bearish. And this is together with many other things, like we are below the moving averages, and we have a lot of the longs and not so many shorts, and volume is decreasing. We are like sort of headed downwards. It's not clear, and in fact I would like to show you this picture which I didn't show 2 days ago or 1 day ago, about the sort of fractalic behavior of the price. You always can find some resemblance in the price patterns, so you can think of this from the previous drop like that. It sort of behaves similarly right now with a smaller scale, and if it will continue to play out, it actually did continue to play out after I drew it. So you see here is some continuation in sideways, here is some continuation sideways trading, and we'll continue to do that for a while with a very low, according to this fractal, we'll continue to do it for a while with a very low volatility, and finally we have some rise and then eventually drop again. But if it will happen, then it will be very minor changes, so not a big deal. And actually the change of the scale from the bigger fractal to the smaller one means that the trend gets weaker, so this bearish momentum vanishes, and we are about to change the trend, which is not so bad for the bulls out there. And the last but not least thing which I was going to mention today is the Bitcoin dominance, and I would like to look at that parameter from the very big time scale. What we see is that from 2017 we had a huge drop of the dominance from 90% to 40%, and like rise of Ethereum and some other altcoins and everything. And basically after that we had the path of Bitcoin from something like $1,000, $2,000 to its maximum to 20,000, and then we had the increase of the dominance up to almost 70%, and then the beginning of the 2018, it was a lot of the altcoins, huge caps are making their moves, and small caps as well, so we had the dominance decreased a lot to like 35%, or maybe I think the lowest was 33%. So, and eventually we had the bear market and we have those oscillations. Now we're sort of in a steady phase. We have this very narrow range of the dominance of Bitcoin in which we are trading right now. And on the other hand, we have this sort of triangle again. So, and you can make this, you can apply the technical analysis even to the Bitcoin dominance, because everything is sort of rely on the human psychology and some other market cycles and supply demand, and everything is basically has some basic logics underneath which follow the technical analysis. So whatever you will draw this triangle, it still looks pretty. You can actually draw it like this, even like this way. So you still will have pretty much the bearish triangle, which will look down. And if it will continue in the same manner, then we would expect somewhere within the few months of this triangle to be broken to the downside. And what it means is that with a lower price of Bitcoin, we will see a lot of the altcoins are growing, and the same thing which happened previously in 2017, and probably it's indication of the bull market, which is really great. And finally, what we are also look at here is that at the same time RSI, again you can apply into the RSI here. I'm sure that RSI looks bullish here, and if we'll continue this trend, then the dominance will actually increase, not decrease. If it will increase, then this will be completely invalid. So this is the counter argument to this pattern. And also at the same time, moving averages are about to flattening out and actually having almost approaching this intersection, which sort of a gold cross intersection when we have the 50 moving average crossing 100 moving averages, and then higher. If it will happen, then again it will indicate the rising pattern, the rising trend of this chart. And yeah, there are like mixed signals even here. So let's just look at this and pay attention. We'll see what will happen. So anyway, what is happening right now at the this exact moment, although we are in a very sort of unclear situation, like where we will go and how the price will develop. Here is my conclusion. Apparently we are in the accumulation phase, right? So we just don't know where we will go. The thing is, if we look at the market sentiment right now, the general expectation of people who are looking at the charts and see the price, and what do they think? So a lot of people are looking at the TA as just we did and think that the price will go down to the newer low, like $3,000 or below or something like that, and they want to buy this low. They don't want to buy right now. They expect price to drop. The thing is, market usually goes against the crowd. In my there's a feeling, I just feel that the most of the people right now are bearish. So they really want this price to go low, right? And they want to buy low. And huge players, huge traders, manipulators, whales, whatever you call them, they don't want the price, more passengers to sit on this train with them. They don't want people to buy low. They want people to sell low or buy high. So what can they do to prevent this situation when people will buy at the low price? Is they will either not allow the price to go that low, so people will be able to buy. So they may let the price go like a little bit lower, but not exactly, like not the lower than the previous low, for example, and then continue to this moving sideways and then go higher and everything like that. So in this way, people will not be able to buy very low, and they will still expect to buy in this area, and whales will continue to accumulate. Another thing, they will just be able to make the price rise, like make $1,000 or more week to the upside, and people will not be able to buy even at this price. The second option is they would be able to make the sideways price action for a while, until a lot of the people who are waiting for this price will lose their nerve, they will lose the patience, and they finally will buy at this area. As soon as the majority of them will do that, according to the estimation of those whales, then that will be the time when price will go down. And then they would have to sell, because they expected, okay, we thought that the price will go down, and it went down, so we were right, we need to buy very low, we need to sell somewhere around here. So but anyway, whales will make that the price will not go to the level when those people would like to buy, after they will sell lower than will buy. So this is the second option. And the third option is indeed to push the price down according to the expectation of the masses. So the price will go below, let's say, $3,000, but people will buy here, where they will probably buy 2,000 to 500 or something. They may even buy at 2,000. Like the less and less people will buy the lower and lower price. So the lower price will be pushed, the more panic there will be. And even those people who were buying at $3,000 or a little lower, they would say, okay, we were wrong, we were buying too high, we need to sell right now. And if the price will go, for example, below $1,000, then it will be a complete panic. Everything will be such a sell-off that a lot of people will sell even though they bought before. So this is another way how the whales can collect more liquidity, even following the expectation of the masses. So you would say I gave you many versions, but as usual, I don't give you anything. Like most of the traders, analysts, they don't tell you where the price will go. They just give you some probabilities. So I will be a little bit more distinctive today. In my personal opinion, it's easier and it's more reasonable to move price higher right now, maybe at least short term, but at least not break below previous low. Maybe we can go 3,400 or something like that. All of this is Coinbase, but not below 3,150. Or if we'll if we'll aim to that, it will be pretty much slow to make the people to have them enough time to panic, because it wouldn't be like $1,000, $2,000 candle down. No, it will be slow, gradual decrease. And don't forget, guys, that in February, at least in the end of the February, we will have the final decision on our ETF, and it will be a perfect information excuse for either make the price going up if the positive decision will happen, or make the price going down. So depending on these two scenarios, the price will evolve. Until then, everything is really not clear, absolutely. And you either would like to stay safe and wait for this decision just 1 month and a little bit more than 1 month until this event happen. So you either stay safe and wait for this, or you take the risk and follow your analysis, your thinking way of your look at the market, and either buy or go to fiat, whatever you decide. It's not a financial advice, you know what I'm saying, just my personal opinion. But what I see in the market is clear to me, that convincing enough to stay in crypto mostly and not sell, at least. Not buy more as well, but not sell. So the decision is up to you. Thank you for watching this video. Hope that I will see you tomorrow is in the next update, as I am doing them daily. Safe trading, guys. Goodbye.